Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, author of epic fantasy romance, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Ah, delicious. Today is, say it with me. Today is Friday. Woohoo! July 18th. And here we are together again. I am back from book tour, and it was great. It was wonderful. It was exhausting. It was occasionally stressful, always delightful. My travels went entirely smoothly, except for the last flight, the coming home flight, which was like an epic disaster. Well, I suppose not disaster, right? Because that would be like the plane actually crashing. But short of that, it was, yeah, difficult. But I will tell you the whole story. I'm going to tell you all about book tour today. And either I am still wired and going to crash, or I'm doing okay. We'll see. While I was on book tour, I have to show you all my the UK team. Oh, sorry, that was very loud. Apologize. The saucer stuck to the bottom of the vase. Yeah, and oops. So the UK team for Never the Roses sent me this beautiful, beautiful arrangement. Uh, that book released on Thursday, so I was out on book tour, but David took pictures of it for me, and it's still in relatively good shape. It's looking a little wilty, but it's close. It's I still get to enjoy it, and it was such a lovely gesture. Okay, so to catch us up where we last left our heroine, it was a week ago Tuesday. It feels like forever. I swear. Like things that I did right before I left, I was surprised to come back and find. It's like, oh, the before times. I don't know how people who travel all the time for book stuff do it. Like Mary Robinette Kowal, I feel like she's on the road constantly, and I don't know how she does it. Anyway, um, I was just realizing I didn't describe the flowers for those of you not on video. It's white roses, white daisies, white statice, and blue delphiniums. Beautiful. So yeah, so we had the launch event on Tuesday. It was great. It was really just it was at Beasley Books, and Twig got me purple roses. I posted pictures of those. I tried to post things to social media, but I just got behind. I also don't know how people, like Sarah Beth Durst, I guess she has her husband doing it for her. I guess that's the secret of these people. I noticed Victoria Schwab has been on book tour, and like she has people taking videos of her and putting together these video compilations. And yeah, so I need an assistant to travel with me and take photos and post things to social media because clearly I am not going to do it myself. Alas. What do you do? Like I've thought about that, saying, well, I don't have, but I do have my husband David, who is lovely but is disabled. He can't travel with me, and even if he could, he wouldn't be taking videos. So I should get other people to take them for me, like maybe pick an assignment, a person in each place I go to. That would be smart. It is not smart. Anyway, um, okay, so Twig, who got me the purple roses, called it the cozy lunch at Beasley, which it was. I mean, it was smaller. Dorinda Jones and Amber Knox came up from Portales, and they got here in the afternoon. And Kelly Robson, who is staying with me, arranged for us to order pizza so that we would eat before the event. She's a very good mother. And we sat out on the portal, and Bella Roth was here, and she came over, and so we all sat on the portal, and we had champagne and pizza, and then we went to the book event, and it was lovely. All the people who came for it, I so appreciated that. Melinda Snodgrass did an amazing interview. We had a party at my friend Megan's afterwards, and yeah, it was just the best kind of day. And then Wednesday, I flew to Salt Lake City, where my cousins, my first cousins, daughters of my mom's older sister, picked me up at the airport, Jane and Becky, and they drove me out to Spanish Fort, which turned out to be like past Provo and a ways. And we had dinner, and it was great to catch up with them. They're both a little bit older than me. Jane is, I think, 7 years older than I am. And Rebecca, I don't know if I'm supposed to not call her Becky anymore, and I'm going to try. And Rebecca's like 10 years older. No, more, 12 years older than I am. Anyway, we had a great event at Poppy's Books. If you are in the Salt Lake City area, it is well worth it to go out to Poppy's Books. It's this lovely bookstore that's in a converted house, and they've got like little hidden doors everywhere, little pretty door. Like I spotted a Hobbit door on the stairway, and you open them, and there's little dioramas inside. It's a fantastic place for kids and for the child at heart. They had a wonderful, wonderful collection of books. Great turnout for the event. Alexandra Kennington interviewed me, and she was terrific. She did a great job. We had a wonderful conversation. I already talked to you about her book. I think it's Blood Under the Snow. I gave a copy of it to Grace Draven because then the next day I went to the airport very early, since it was like an hour from where I was, and flew to Austin, Texas, and stayed at this great hotel called Canopy right downtown Austin near the Book People bookstore. I was able to walk over and do a few errands. I tried to one suitcase this, and I'm at peace with the fact that I am, like I'm never going to be your carry-on traveler. I am too much of a clothes horse for that. I want my stuff with me. I was trying to be my version of traveling light by having one suitcase, but I still had packed it almost to weight. And then at Poppy's bookstore, they gave me a book. I got to pick any book I wanted. I should have kept that up here. So I got The Night and the Moth, which everybody is saying is really great. So that was really cool. They said that they used to, I can't remember what she said, they used to give authors something, and she said it turned out that all they really wanted was a free book, which, fair, right? So I took that book. So in Austin, when I checked in for my flight, my suitcase was like at 51 pounds. I think they have those scales tilted because I've hit 51 pounds before, and but then they've said it's fine. So I think that means it's actually like 49, and they're trying to get people to tip slightly under. So anyway, I went and bought a little dash bag because it was like, okay, I'm clearly going to be accumulating more stuff, and I did. So that was smart. And I'd forgotten my special signing pen, so I went and bought another one of those, which actually, this is a seed that will come around later in the story. I bought one of the ones. It doesn't have the kind with the screw cap or the screw cartridge where you could suck up the ink, like my special one that my wonderful nephew Brett gave me that I left behind. I had it for the signing night here at Beasley Books, and then it didn't make its way into my bags. So I got one with just the ink cartridge, and so I was able to use that to sign books that night, where I was met by the fantastic and lovely Grace Draven. As many of you know, we have been friends for many, many years, like 11 years now, we're figuring out. But I had not seen her since pre-pandemic for reasons, a lot of reasons, pandemic being one, but then also she got sick, that kind of thing. So I got to see Grace. It was great to see her again. We did the event at Book People, great bookstore in downtown Austin, multi-story, all the books you could ever want out of life. And they even had some ASL interpreters from the local community college doing ASL of our conversation. And they had a lot of fun. Everybody said how great it was because, Grace and I can riff with each other. Um, and then Grace got to stay the night with me. She went back with me to my hotel, and we had dinner in the courtyard. Stayed up very late. It was one of those things where we're the last people in the restaurant because the servers like come through and we're looking and it's like, oh, it's 10:30. It's what you get for having dinner after the book event. And so then Grace just stayed overnight with me in my hotel room. And then the next day we went and walked around some. I was looking for, so I've got this thing. I've probably mentioned it on here, but I'll mention it again. I've got this thing where I try to buy landscapes in all of the different places I visit. I prefer them to be artwork. It can be photography so long as it's like not touristy stuff from local artists, which is not always easy to find, but it provides a good quest. And I hang these up, and you can see, well, none of the ones behind me are like this, although there's up above me, there's the Red Wolf, which is a Santa Fe artist I love. But then next to it is a Georgia O'Keeffe from her home and studio. She painted that doorway a lot, and so that one for me is partly a landscape. They help provide me with inspiration. I have them all around the house, and it helps me think of different kinds of landscapes in which to set things. So we went back to Book People, thinking maybe we could find something there. No, they didn't have anything local, and they suggested a stationery store that we went over to, and that gal's like, no, everything here is from China, which is, I guess life. That's the life we're living. So, but she said go to Congress Street, which is, sort of like the touristy area of Austin. But she said you will find local art there, and she even suggested a couple of stores. And we did. We took a lift over to Congress Street. Um, Behind me is a wonderful piece. I'll grab it so I can tell you the artist. She was a street artist and had a bunch of pieces. Isn't that great? It's Karen Sagert. Karen Sagert. So this piece it's very colorful, and it's a woman a blue woman, a blue person perhaps, entwined with flowers growing out of her head. She's holding a bluebird. There's a hummingbird feeding off of one of the flowers. I also got Kelly. Yesterday was Kelly's birthday, so I got Kelly a gorgeous octopus that is really great from this same artist. And I did find some landscapes. We also went to a vintage store. I got a great pair of shoes. We had a wonderful time. And then went back to the hotel, grabbed our suitcases, rode yet another lift. What did we do before rideshare? I guess we paid out the nose for taxis, or we didn't go places. Uh, Rode the lift out to the airport, and Grace rode with me, and her sister picked her up there. And for those of you wondering, I ran into someone else. I'll probably add that. This is probably going to be a two-parter because it's a long story. So um, she's doing fine. She's clear. She's cancer free. She's in remission. She's stronger and more vital than I expected. We talked about whether or not she should color her hair. But yeah, we had a lovely time together, and it was great. Great to have that time. So then I flew to Columbus for their book festival. I got in fairly late that evening, but then I stayed at a great hotel there too. The tour team put me up at just such fun hotels, all very hip, which was kind of cool. So I stayed at, excuse me, the Junto in Columbus, which was across from the park with I think we might have some sort of capture. It's Killian, though, and he bites down so hard that he kills things instantly. With Jackson, I can get them away and set them free, but I won't go investigate. So the Junto was great. They had a rooftop bar. I sat up on the rooftop bar in the warm, humid night. It was perfect. Had a great meal, wine, and it was just really, it was a good decompressed moment. Saturday was the day of errors. It was one of those days where just like everything went wrong. Uh, I think I was partly getting tired and discombobulated at this point, which, I had really been going pretty strong since before Tuesday, even because there'd been all the prep for the book release and getting out of town. So I decided to take a lift over to the library where the book festival was being held. It's a tremendous book festival. It's beautiful. The library is a Carnegie library that they then added onto in the early 90s in a beautiful way. So out in the park adjacent to the library, they had all of these tents and pavilions set up. It was just gorgeous. And so I get there and I get there late. It's a mile away from the hotel. So I considered walking, but then I ran out of time. I thought I was getting ready in time, but I wasn't. And it was also very hot and muggy. And I thought, well, I don't want to arrive there all hot and sticky. And if I got lost, like I wouldn't have time. So I splurged. I was, getting reimbursed anyway, but I'm conscious of like spending other people's money. Uh, but then I had a signing at the Steamy Lit booth at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. And the festival began at 10. So as we got closer and closer to the library, the traffic got worse and worse and worse. And it took forever. It took, I don't know, easily 20 minutes for us to go the 1 mile from my hotel, which I'm just not used to cities anymore, being out in my lovely, peaceful countryside. So finally, I just told the Lyft driver, stop here, let me out, and I'll walk the rest of the way. So, and it wasn't that far, it was like a block. But I'd go in and check in and get my author credentials, and I was late for that. And I told them I'd look to see where the Steamy Lit booth was, and I'm already late. I hate being late. And I hate making people wait on me. So I said to them, okay, I have to be at Steamy Lit booth. I know that's number 94. I know it's on this little spur on the map. I just don't know how to get there. And there's one woman wearing a library t-shirt says, I will escort you there. And I was like, bless. So she escorts me there. She's the one who tells me that they expanded the library in 93. And I ask her what she does at the library. And she says, oh, I'm the CFO. I was like, oh, okay, I'm being escorted by the CFO. And she said, there's not a lot I can do for the book festival. So I volunteered to escort people. And it was great. I'd also foolishly worn heels, not realizing so much of it would be on grass. So I was slow. So we get to the Steamy Lit booth, and they're very nice. They're waiting for me. There's another author signing, and she's already going. There's people lined up waiting for me, which is always gratifying. You got to love it when people are waiting for you. And they were all very nice. I'm like, I'm sorry. And they're all very nice to me. I did not realize when they asked me if I would sign at the Steamy Lit booth, I was like, sure, why not? But I associated them with Steamy Lit Con, which they also do, but they are a bookstore. I didn't know that. They started in Deerfield, Florida, and then they have a second store, and I think also in Florida. She probably told me where, and I've lost it. And the owner, who was fantastic and so helpful, told me that she. I'm seeing what happened with Killian. He doesn't have anything dead in his mouth, so that's always a good sign. But they just signed the lease on their third store in Miami. And she told me that this is the last year for Steamy Lit Con in Anaheim because it's really far away for them to deal with. But it sounds like she may reincarnate it closer to where they are, which would be great because I always hear, and I told her, I hear great things about the con, even from my most pickiest author friends. So look at that. I'm already at 20 minutes. And we've made it to Saturday, but that's a good place to stop. We'll leave it here. Columbus, Saturday morning. Had a great signing at Steamy Lit booth. People were lovely and fantastic. and then I will tell you the rest on Tuesday. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you didn't mind. I hope you saw my social media posts. Oh, I almost buried the lead. We found out Wednesday that the book debuted at number 29 on the USA Today Bestseller list. It's my first time being a USA Today bestseller. I'd always said I wanted to get there on my own, to not do it with one of the book box deals. So this is with a hardback, and all me. And so I'm proud of myself. This is something I've wanted for a long time, and it's amazing. And I saw my book in the bookstore at the JFK airport, which was also a first, and I took a picture of it. So, all right, I will tell you all the rest on Tuesday. You all take care.